Welcome to Revitalize and Replant with Mark Clifton, where we equip pastors to take their churches from declining to thriving by pointing them to a new future and a new hope. Join us weekly for encouragement and practical advice in your pastoring journey.
Welcome back to Revitalize and Replant. I am Mark Clifton, and sitting here with Mark Hallock.
Hey.
And we're doing a lot of podcasts in a short amount of time because we love each of you.
That's right.
And you're the reason we do what we do. You are the wind beneath our wings.
Amen.
I just want you to know that.
The reason for the season. I mean, it's probably,
That's right.
I think we're getting closer to
Remember
Christmas
David
at this
Meese?
point, maybe.
David Meese?
Oh, yeah.
David Meese had his album and a song called You Are the Reason.
You
are the reason.
Could you give us a solo?
I couldn't. He sang in falsetto. David's still around. I saw a picture of him the other day.
Really?
He's close to 70 now.
Were you ever in choirs or anything?
Sure, I was in youth choir.
Okay.
But I drove David Meese around for a week in Kansas City in 1978. Yeah.
So he was like a big Christian artist
he was
in
a
the
big
70s.
deal. He was kind of maybe Stephen Curtis.
Kind of like a
Chapman-ish.
Stephen Curtis Chapman
Yeah,
type.
yeah.
What's he like?
And he was very friendly.
That's awesome.
Very friendly, very friendly. He had a whole series of concerts in Kansas City, and for reasons we're going into at this juncture, I was a freshman in college, and I was his host, and so I got to host David Meese.
That's so fun.
David Meese around. Look him up. Google David Meese.
David Meese.
You are the reason.
You are the reason.
Well, that's about all we got for today.
All right. Did I see it?
Welcome to Revitalize and Replant. Mr. Hallock, what are we talking about today?
Okay, we are talking about a really, really important topic, and it's something we need to come back to and remember over and over again, and that is how to earn trust as a pastor.
Boy, if you don't have trust as a pastor, you have nothing.
You've got nothing.
You can't lead people anywhere. You certainly can't lead change.
That's right.
The degree to which you can lead them to make the necessary changes is directly connected to the degree to which they trust you.
Okay, dude, say that again. That's worth a lot of money.
The degree to which you can successfully lead them to the changes that they need to make under the power and the influence of the Holy Spirit is directly related to the degree to which they trust you as their leader.
That's right.
And they can only trust you when you spend time with them.
Yes.
Trust is built over time.
Over time.
It can't be done quickly. And you have to be willing to pay the price and do the work. Now, any place that the Lord chooses to, He could part the window of heaven, open the Shekinah glory, and change a church in an instant.
Yep.
And that does happen on occasion.
Yep.
But apparently, the Lord prefers to use us as pastors in obedience over a long period of time to edify us as well as the church. And so many of us are going to be in that situation where revitalization and change is going to take a long period of time, and it will be dependent a great deal on how we trust Jesus and then how the people trust us as their leader.
Well said.
So 6 ways.
Well said.
6 ways to earn trust, and these are by Mark Hallock himself.
Well, yeah. And listen, a lot of these things, I get it. They're really basic, but guys, remember, we always want to come back to the basics.
So number one, I'll mention them, and you fill in the gaps.
Okay, you go for it.
I'll do the bones, and you put on the meat.
Right.
We'll see.
We'll see how that goes. You go for it.
Yeah, something like that. Number 1, and this is one I need. Listen more than you speak.
Listen more than you speak.
Go ahead.
Pastors, it's rare to find a pastor who doesn't like to speak.
Boy, isn't that the truth?
Who doesn't like to talk a lot.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You get a room full of pastors.
Oh,
you get a
my
lot
goodness.
of talkers going on.
Oh, my goodness.
You know, here's the problem. When you're pastoring a church, your people notice that pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. They notice if you're a talker. They notice if you're a listener or you're not a listener. Mm-hmm. And what we know is, and think about your own life. I mean, you go have lunch with somebody. I mean, I had lunch with a guy. I didn't know him that well. We had lunch probably a week or 2 ago. And I thought the reason we were getting together was he wanted to talk about church revitalization, actually. Mm-hmm. And he's interested in doing that. And I'm like, this is great. And for an hour, I'm not kidding. Mm-hmm. I may have spoken for a minute, 2 minutes. I am not kidding. It was just constant. And I'm like, trying to encourage him, but I'm like, dude, this guy's not really interested in learning much of anything. Well, I apply that to this when it comes to pastoring the church, right? Your people know that you care about them. You care about what they think. You care about how they're feeling. When you look at them and you listen to them well. And so listening well, a lot of us need to grow as listeners, man. We live in a culture where, man, we got talkers left and right. Everybody's got to talk. Go on social media, you can talk. But you don't win people's hearts in the church without being a good listener. So I would say this means becoming a good question asker.
Yes.
It means showing genuine interest in others.
Yes.
It means being patient and
Yes.
engaged when you are with a person.
That's right.
Right? You're not just looking past them or looking at your watch.
No, or your phone.
Or your phone. I mean, the phone is just unbelievable. When a pastor's intentional in trying to better understand, and this is so true, the hurts and the hopes of their people, they will be far more willing and eager to follow your leadership.
So we always say you should walk slowly among your people.
I love
So
that.
when you're on Sunday morning or wherever you're with them in a group, be totally at peace and at rest and act like you're not in a rush or a hurry to get to the next person. Walk slow among your people. And, I have a hard time doing that. I have a hard time walking slow among my people. I have a hard my people. That sounds like I'm Moses. I have a hard time walking slow among the folks that I work with. I have a hard time sometimes listening. I'm always trying to think, what am I going to say next? And so when someone's talking, oftentimes in my mind, I'm thinking, how am I going to respond to that? And then I'm not really listening to them. So here's what I do. Among my other hobbies, besides collecting watches and telephone insulators, I love to watch documentaries. So that's about all I watch on television anymore is documentaries. And I could get lost in documentaries. Well, when I'm watching a documentary, for example, on how the Russians in the 1700s explored Siberia, and believe me, I've watched documentaries on that. When I watch that, I'm not thinking as I'm watching that, how am I going to talk about that? How am I going to respond to the documentary narrator? I'm focused on listening to what they're saying. So this is just something I do. When someone's talking to me and I find myself having a hard time focusing, I just pretend they're a documentary and I'm listening because I don't ever respond to a documentary. So I'm just going to listen. I'm going to absorb. Or I'm watching a movie and I'm just going to absorb what they have to say.
I like that.
And you sort of just go into that mode that I'm listening to a story, I'm watching a movie, I'm listening to a documentary. I want to pick up every single detail. Yeah. Instead of thinking, okay, here's how I'm going to respond to that. Or here's how I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about. So listen to your people. Number
two is this. Oh, this is important. Follow through on what you'll say you do.
Which also means, and this is a really hard one, don't overcommit yourself.
Yeah. Don't overpromise and underdeliver. It's
right.
the worst thing you can do as a pastor.
So sometimes we don't follow through because we're lazy. And that's a sin.
Yep.
Sometimes we don't follow through because we don't write things down. Mm-hmm. We don't pay attention to details.
Yep.
And look, I get it, but if you're going to deal with people, details matter.
They matter. That's right.
They matter to them.
Yep.
So you better pay attention to the details. And thirdly, we mess up because we say yes to everybody because we don't want to say no to anybody, but we can't do everything everybody asks us to do. And listen, the worst thing you can do, as you said, is overcommit and underproduce.
Yeah.
And to promise to do something and not be able to do it. And, if you do that, own it, acknowledge it, and then ask them to pray with you. Go ahead and tell them, look, Robert, I got a problem. I tend to overcommit because I basically want people, I don't want to offend people. I want people to like me. And would you pray with me that the Lord would deal with that in my heart, that I would learn that all I need is the affirmation of the gospel, and I don't need people's affirmation, and this is a weakness I have. Just acknowledge that.
Yeah.
And they'll pray with you about it. But my goodness, guys, the worst thing you can do is promise to do something and then not do it.
Well, and to do that frequently and consistently. I mean, my fear, it's one thing if you, once in a while, we're all going to fall into this, right? And that's where, like you said, we want to be humble. But if you're somebody who it's a pattern of not following through,
I'll be there.
Lose trust.
I'll be there, and then you don't show up at the meeting.
Right.
You don't show up
late
at the
all
event,
the time,
or you're late, or you leave early.
Yeah, I mean, that's not how you build trust, man.
My first boss, after I quit being a pastor or as a young college student, and I got my first job in an associational office. And I was a church planting catalyst for an association. And my mom and dad came down to Atlanta. I was in an association in North Atlanta. And they came down to visit me. And I remember my dad said, "How's my son doing?" And the director of missions was Leonard King. Leonard said, "Well, he's in here by 10 and he stays clear through to lunch." and my dad said, "I'm going to have a talk with that boy." And Leonard said, "Yeah, you better have a talk with that boy. So don't come late and leave early."
That's hilarious. Did he ever sit you down and talk with you?
Oh,
about it?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, because I couldn't stay in one place. I couldn't stay behind a desk. I was always doing something.
Yeah.
He never knew where I was. But he also was the one that said he was. One day I was supposed to meet a pastor, First Baptist Church of Alpharetta, Georgia. Had never met me before. I had just gotten there. And so the pastor called the director of missions, Leonard, and he said, I'm supposed to meet this kid you got working for you. So he's going to be at Shoney's. Well, what's he look like? And Leonard said, well, he looks like an unmade bed. I had a lot to learn.
You were making great first impressions left and right. Okay. Well, so number 2, follow through on what you'll say you're doing. Okay, here's number 3.
Yeah.
Number 3, this is really important. Be with them in moments of crisis and even moments where it's not crisis.
Man, look, if you're in a normative sized church, be at the hospital.
Yeah.
Go there whenever they have surgery, when their spouse has surgery, when their dad has surgery, their mom has surgery, go there, be with them before they go into surgery and pray, and maybe sit with them in the waiting room. I mean, those are times that are so important. Funerals. Do whatever you can do to do every funeral they ask you to do. Mm-hmm. I mean, people will never forget that you were there for their funeral. Yeah. And I know sometimes it means you're going to spend a day and a half not a day and a half, but a half a day driving maybe to some far off cemetery to do the burial. That's just the work pastors do.
Takes your Saturday.
And if you're in a rural place and you got to drive to the city to go to the hospital, and I know if you're bivocational, that's tough. It may take your Saturday and all. But man, you've just got to find ways to be with people in their crisis moments. And, if they have a loss and you go by and see them even after 2 or 3 weeks after the funeral and just hang with them and love on them and let them know you're with them and just do pastoral care.
Yeah, pastoral
care. But
then,
that's right. Not only in moments of crisis, but be with your people when it's not a crisis. Yeah. Take your church directory or your church whatever, your membership directory, whatever you've got, even if it's just on a computer, print out, whatever. And weekly, just pray for 2 or 3 families every week or a family every day. And then on an occasion, just call that family.
That's right.
And say, hey, Robert, I want you to know that I just prayed for you and your wife and your little girl today, and I'm just glad you're in our church, and you're on my heart and my mind, and thank you for letting me be your pastor. And just call them for no reason and pray for them for no particular reason. So if you'll be with them in times of crisis, and you'll be with them, if they never hear from you unless they want something from you, especially in a normative sized church where you'll be able to contact just about everybody, every year, every month or so, be very much aware to be in their lives.
That's really good. Here, let me share one idea. This is something that I've tried to start doing, and I love this. So we know this. A lot of folks don't answer their phones anymore, right? Mm-hmm. So you call, it goes to the... and text message oftentimes just doesn't cut it. So what I would encourage you to do, and I'm not real tech savvy, but what I've tried to do is get in the habit of regularly texting voice messages just for the purpose of saying, I love you guys.
Yeah.
I am so thankful to be your pastor. If you need anything, and I try to be specific and try to think about, hey, I know that, Johnny had this, he's playing soccer. I saw him on Sunday. I know he had a game. Hoping that just went well. You guys are great parents, and I love the way you love Johnny, and I'm so glad you're part of this church. Just want you guys to know I love you.
That is so much better than a text.
It's so much better.
They hear your voice.
They hear me. They can hear me. They can hear my love for them. So, and... again, if they're not going to, because I used to get frustrated. I'm like, why don't people call or answer their phone?
I got a confession to make here. This whole podcast is a confession for me. Have you noticed that lately? There's a pattern here. All right, I'm not Catholic, but this is my confessional.
I'm your priest. I'm trying to soothe your soul here.
So, but this is again, I'm not. Yeah. So I have an older friend who has been in ministry for many years. Very active, but health is very, very poor. And so he's really shut down a lot in what he's able to do. I was at a meeting recently, and we have a mutual friend, and that mutual friend came up to me, and he said, have you spoken to, and he gave me his name, recently. And I had to acknowledge that, I really haven't. And he said to me, I think he would really like to hear from you. Oh, man, that just cut at me. So I immediately called him, and when I called him, I got his voicemail. And I left him a voicemail. And I said, I want you to know I'm thinking about you and I'm praying for you, and you mean a lot to me in my life, and you have, and we miss you when you're not around. And man, I'll tell you what, a day or two later, I got a voicemail from him because I couldn't take the call. I was on a plane or something. And I listened to his voicemail, and he said, he was almost in tears. He said, I can't tell you how excited I was to hear your voice. He said, he named his wife. I played it for her, and she was excited to hear it too. Wow. This is an older couple that just wanted to hear you. A text would not have been the same
No,
thing.
it would not. That's right.
But the fact that I left a voicemail for him or a voice text for him, and so you can't overemphasize the importance of that. Yeah.
So use that, Pastor. Start sending voice messages. Trust me on this one. Okay, we are at the next one. You ready for this?
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay, so number 4, I love this. Be a joyful pastor.
Be happy.
Be a happy pastor.
We've talked about this since we started this podcast, back at the, like I said, in the 1960s. But when you walk into a room, Pastor, do people immediately feel happier and safer and more joyful? Or do they look at you and wonder what kind of attitude you're going to have?
Oh, my gosh.
Or what are you afraid of now?
Yeah.
Or what are you upset about today?
Yep.
Or what are you scared over today? What's your facial expression say?
Totally.
Does it say, I love Jesus and he loves me? Does it say, I couldn't be happier to be your pastor?
Yeah.
Now, you can't fake that.
Right.
But you can find it in Jesus.
Amen.
And if you don't have it, find it in Jesus.
You got to find it, man.
Find that. You got to battle for your joy.
Yes.
You got to battle for your contentment in the gospel.
Yep.
But it's a battle worth fighting for. So that when you walk into a room, you just exude this joyfulness and this happiness that becomes infectious.
That's right.
Otherwise, your negativeness becomes infectious. Your bitterness and your cantankerousness.
Yeah, your people are going to catch something from
They
you.
really are.
What are they going to catch?
And I know we live in a really difficult, challenging world, but if we're always just upset and gloomy because how bad the world is and how sinful the world is and how the church is in decline and how pick any denomination you're a part of. Every denomination's got something going on that nobody likes, right?
Yep.
So if you're going to focus on that and be all upset about that, or you're going to come in and go, you know what? Jesus is on his throne.
Amen.
The
Amen.
resurrection changes everything.
That's right.
He's got this under control.
Yep.
Do you have that? If you don't have that, man, ask the Lord to give it to you.
Amen.
And find it. It's one of the most important things you can have as a pastor.
And you know what? There's a book, actually, I would recommend on this that has been helpful to me at times in the past, and it's called When I Don't Desire God.
Oh, that's great.
It's by John Piper.
Yes.
And he gets to the very heart of this, because if you're like me, there have been times where I'm like, Lord, I want to be more joyful.
Yeah.
I want it.
Yeah.
What's going on in my heart? What have
Yeah.
is there hidden sin? Are there things? Anyway, this book has been really helpful for me over the years. And if that's you, he's going to point you to Jesus and encourage you. And I think in some ways it's very practical. But again, we're not saying be fake and put on a fake smile. We are saying let your love for the Lord overflow into how you love your people and lead your people. And that will build trust. Because listen, people they're not going to trust a pastor that they don't feel safe with. Okay.
That's true.
And I don't know about you, I don't feel safe with angry people.
No.
I don't feel safe with cynical people.
No.
I do feel safe with loving, joyful people.
That's right.
And that's what, as a pastor, we want to exude. So again, I'm saying this. We can always be growing in that, but if you're really struggling with this, maybe check out that book, When I Don't Desire God, or meditate on some key passages. Maybe talk with a friend. Maybe see a biblical counselor. I don't know what you need.
Before you go to a meeting, put your headphones on or your ear pods and listen to some hymns or some music that really enlightens your soul.
That's
really
good.
Just moves your heart, right?
Yes.
I mean, just something like that.
Reminds you.
I had a pastor friend one time who said when I would go on hospital visitations, I didn't like doing it. He said it just wasn't, but he said I would listen to certain songs that would just get me pumped up with the gospel.
Yeah.
So that got me ready to get into that hospital
I love it.
and go in with joy and not trepidation. And so, man, do that.
Dude,
something
listen,
like that.
athletes do it. If you ever played
That's
sports,
right.
man, when I was a basketball player, we'd get hyped up in the locker room and we're going to go. Well, now in ministry, it's the same thing, but it's a different posture. It's like, Lord, I need you and I love you.
And music is made by the Creator makes us to hear music and for it to speak to us. So find some songs that really inspire you and influence you and encourage you, and maybe put those in as you're driving to church. Listen to it before you go into that finance committee meeting.
Yeah.
Be listening to that music.
Oh yeah.
So okay, now we got to hurry.
That's really good.
Number 4. celebrate all that God is doing through your church.
Yes, celebrate all that you're doing. Now, here's what I wrote down with this. When a congregation, I think this is really true, sees the authentic joy and excitement of their pastor expressed through genuine encouragement and celebration of all that God is doing among them, trust will grow. Listen, celebrate anything and everything in your church. Let me say that again. Celebrate anything and everything in your church.
Everything.
Celebrate big things, celebrate small things, celebrate answered prayers and spiritual
Your
growth.
church needs to be a place of celebratory excitement.
Man. God is moving.
Jesus is on the throne.
That's right. And if you're like, man, I don't know, my people don't see it, well, you show them.
That's right.
Because he's moving, man. He's
right.
doing great stuff in a lot of ways, and you need to name it. You need to shed light on it and bring it to
go to the IMB website. Go to the North American Mission Board website. Go to the website of your state convention and your association, and discover some things that God is doing amazing things in those places, and celebrate those on Sunday morning.
That's right. There's
because
so
that's
much.
all of us.
Exactly.
And just be grateful for the churches being planted and the lives that are being changed, and then in your own local congregation, when something really amazing, even not amazing, just something glorious, something sweet happens.
Just something sweet, yes.
Just something nice.
It's all God's grace, man.
Have your antenna up.
Yes.
And when you know that somebody did something nice for somebody else, and you say, hey, you know what? I just want to celebrate today that this happened or that happened.
Yes.
Come in with those attitudes so that the church becomes a place where we really do celebrate all that God's doing.
There's no small wins in the kingdom. Every win is a glorious win. Now, the last one, and you can land the plane if you want on this, Clifton, is stay, especially when it's hard. If we're going to earn trust with our people, that means we got to weather some storms with our people, and that means staying, especially when it's hard. Sadly, we know this. There's many churches that have been wounded by pastors who, instead of persevering through tough times, they ran for the hills.
Yeah.
They abandoned the flock altogether.
Yeah.
And so it's no wonder many of God's people have a hard time trusting pastors, especially in a culture like ours where sticking with commitments of any kind, sadly, it seems rare. What I know is in a culture like that, nothing builds trust in a pastor more than staying in a church, especially when it's hard.
Stay when it's hard. Preach, pray, love, and stay. All right, guys, ladies, thank you for listening to this podcast. Please subscribe, and we would every time you subscribe, another pastor gets his D-men. That's the way it works. I have no idea why I just said that. Anyway, join us on our next episode.
Thanks for joining us today on Revitalize and Replant. This podcast is brought to you by the North American Mission Board, where we help dying or struggling churches regain health for the glory of God and the good of their communities. If you found this conversation helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform. To learn more about becoming a replanting pastor or to explore resources about revitalization for your own church, visit churchreplanters.com.